And for this feature table match, we have Nishi versus TOMBOX, which is myself. I'll probably refer to myself in the third-person perspective this time around because I'm getting some commentary practice. I mean, it's been a long time since I've done live duel commentary. Wait, no, that's a lie because I was there for 250th YCS and I literally commentated at least 7 matches. So make sure you guys hit that like button, hit subscribe, ding that notification bell. I am going to get my practice in here. And I think this is the first time Nishi's been on camera for play. So this is going to be wild. I'm going to basically include all the pauses. We're not going to cut anything in between because sometimes I gotta learn how to fill in the time. So, on the die roll, Nishi won that die roll, so he's going to be choosing to go first. He is choosing to play Labrynth. This is Labrynth versus Gold Pride Punks. We're gonna see how this one is gonna take place here. So, starting off, Nishi is gonna make his play. His hand seems alright from what we can see here. He's got a Pot of Prosperity in hand, at least one trap. There's a Stovey Torby, I believe. He's gonna start off with the Pot of Prosperity. You know, very strong card. He's gonna go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe he's gonna go for 6. We go already over 3, and those are some really nice sleeves of the Ulti Instincts from MST.TV. So yeah, get your hands on those at MSTmerch.com. Gotta throw that plug in there. Revealing a Kurikara, Skill Drain. I believe that is a lovely, a Drone Lockbird, Ghost Bell, and a Welcome Labrynth. I mean, okay, the thing is that both players know each other's matchup. He's probably gonna go for the Skill Drain. Skill Drain can simplify the game state a lot here. Yeah, going for the Skill Drain. I guess that's gonna be a very solid choice. Looking at my hand, I do have a Drone Lockbird. I have an Ash Blossom Joyous Spring. Probably should have threw that Ash down, but knowing that it was a Labrynth match, I'm like, you know what? You gotta hold for those Welcome Labrynths, am I right? So he plays Labrynth. But before that, hold on. We're gonna see the activation of Drone Lockbirds. There's a little bit of response timing there. Okay, so the Droll has been dropped down. Now we're going to see the Labrynth activated. There's probably going to be no response to that Labrynth. And Nishi is going to activate Stovey Torby. That's going to allow him to set one of those trap cards straight from the deck. Probably going to go for the Welcome Labrynth, get that set up down. With Skill Drain, it's going to be a very interesting game. And he's going to go for regular Welcome Labrynth. That's going to be set onto the field. Remember, it can't be added to hand, alright? Because, you know, we're under Drone Lockbird, of course. Cut and pass the deck back. What else can a Labrynth player do? You can't really play Ariana, so we're going to see set 1. So that's the card. That is the Welcome Labrynth, just confirming. And there's a Skill Drain, and I think there is another trap card. We're going to see how this one plays out. So I think we're going to go on to pass turn. Draw for turn. Could not actually get a glimpse of what that was. I can't even remember. This duel happened before the ban list actually dropped. Now there is Ascended Thunder in hand. We're going to start off by summoning out the Ascended Thunder. That's going to cost 3,000 life points for that summon. However, there is also a Nitro Head. Okay, going very aggressive here. I don't think there's any sort of big punk plays, and I don't think there's any sort of big Gold Pride plays, considering that all of these monsters, they do not have follow. These are more of the more aggressive monsters, and there it is, the Welcome Labrynth activated, chained to an Ash Blossom Joyous Spring, so that's not going to be able to summon out any of the Labrynth monster from the deck. Well, if I look at this carefully, I think there is lethal on board right now. There's enough damage to go for game. If the Shirakusai and the, I believe the Nitro Head can synchro into Psychic and Punisher, that should be more than enough. But there's the Skill Drain coming down. Nishi really worried about a Baron coming down just so that it would not only negate the Skill Drain, but potentially also pop the second card as well. So there's a lot of problems if he did not activate that Skill Drain right at that point. So I think we're going to try to go into battle phase and try to deal some damage here. Are we not doing the damage? We're just calculating some math here. 7,000 to 5,000. Now, as a Gold Pride player, you probably don't want to lower your life points lower than your opponent, because then all the cards in hand kind of get stuck in your hand. You don't really want to be stuck with a bunch of Nitro Heads. So we're pushing for all the damage. Pushing Nishi down to 800. How hard could it be to close a game at 800 life points against a Labrynth player that only really has a Skill Drain left on the field? Shouldn't be that bad, right? And there's also one set card. That set card, I got a glimpse of it. It is Jaruri Nashiwari Surprise. That's the card that lets you destroy a set card. However, there is a punk monster on the field which will allow it to pop Skill Drain. Maybe Skill Drain is not going to last as long on the field as I thought. Perhaps we're contemplating going into the extra deck. TOMBOX, what are you doing? This is future Tom looking back at what you're doing here. So looking at this particular game state, I would say that that skill drain potentially is actually a very big detriment to Nishi. If he even goes into any of his monsters, he can't do anything as they have no effects. And the oh, Tom, what are you doing? Why are you popping that skill drain right now? That's pointless. You know, looking back, I do see that this is potentially a pretty large misplay on my part, because this is standby phase. We're trying to get that token onto the field, but I don't think that token necessarily gives any additional advantage to me in particular. And this is actually going to cost me quite a bit, because he's going to chain his compulsory evacuation device, target the Nitro Head. That is a big problem. Now, not only did I clear his own skill drain for him, I also allowed his stuff in the graveyard to also trigger as well. Even if he gets back the Welcome Labrynth, if he can't get into any of his effects, it really doesn't, you know, snowball as hard as it did now. I literally just cleared the skill drain for him. And so Nishi now gets more or less a free turn, as none of my monsters activate or do anything. And considering that that is a level 10 monster, that does not add up with math here. So Shirakusai technically can perform a Synchro Summon, but there is no level 10 punk monster for me to go into. So that is a bit unfortunate. So yeah, he gets to reset his Welcome Labrynth, and even if he pass turn here, this is actually not looking too good, because I don't think that I'm going to be able to get to the main phase to perform a Synchro Summon. Like, ideally, we're going to try to go into Baron, but I don't think that that's going to happen. Any good Labrynth player would know that, yeah, you know what, you just don't let them get into Baron at this point, because once you get into Baron, the game is over. You get to negate one and pop the other, so that kind of clears out all the problems. And knowing which one is Welcome Labrynth, that's probably going to be a big problem. And Welcome Labrynth, with Labrynth on the field, on the resolution, that's going to be able to destroy a card on the field. So he's going to activate his Welcome Labrynth. He's going to summon out Ariana, I believe. Yeah, in defense mode. And that's also going to, on resolution, Labrynth will destroy the Shirakusai. Not the most solid opening on my end, but he's going to continue on and get the follow-up of Ariana, adding a Labrynth card to his hand. That's going to be Lady Labrynth of the Silver Castle. And that monster can just come right out, because a Labrynth monster did activate. Now, the Ascended Thunder is still on the field, 27, not exactly stronger than the Lady, but at this very moment, we can still at least run down one of the monsters that exist here. We're going to attack into the Ariana. I mean, his life points are so protected, and once I get the Ascended Thunder destroyed, I'm going to be able to gain 5,000 life points. But that's not exactly a good thing for a Gold Pride player. Him at 800... Any of my level 5 or higher Gold Prides, they're more or less going to be dead in my hand. I think Roller Baller probably would be the better option here. If you can get a Roller Baller onto the field, then you can maybe perhaps still fuse. But for now, there is a Nitro Head in hand, because that was the one that was compulsed back. I think the other card in my hand is also another copy of Nitro Head. Yes, my current, like at the time, not my current build. My current build only runs one Nitro Head, but this particular build that's featured right now is running 2 because of the amount of cash tiras that were floating around, and ending on Nitro Head protect you against like evenly matched, protect you against like cash tira opening out their play. So it made sense for that particular line, and Psychic and Punisher is just punishing everybody. Okay, so we're going to see Ascended Thunder attack into the Ariana. No damage because it was in defense mode. If only that was in attack position. If only there was an enemy controller, just put it into attack position, we just finish him off. That would have been very nice. Apparently not. That's not the case here. Now we're going to go back to Nishi's turn. Nishi's turn, he's going to start off by activating Dogmatic Punishment. That he's basically already revealed it. He's already flipped it here. So he's going to go for the Dogmatic Punishment. A 2700, so he can't use a 25. And on top of that, he's also going to chain Lady Labrynth. That's right, that is also a thing. And I think at this point, it's more or less scoop phase for me. I don't think there's much I can do at this particular point. He's going to get a big Welcome Labrynth. Now he's going to get even more follow-up, more monsters, and the ability to remove stuff off of my side of the field. And, okay, we're going to see the Tri-Brigade arms Bucephalus II, and that's going to destroy the Ascended Thunder. Ascended Thunder is going to activate, gaining 5,000 life points. Bucephalus is also going to chain on that as well, and the Welcome Labrynth is going to reset itself onto the field because of Dogmatic Punishment. And we're going to send a Garura through the Bucephalus II, and that's going to provide Nishi with a draw for the Garura. Very solid play on his end. I think all of this actually stemmed from one bad timed skill drain pop, because honestly putting Nishi at 800, leaving the skill drain, that probably would have been the best choice, and holding that Nashiwari surprise to clear off the one monster or perhaps the one disruption he would actually put onto the field, then you could just attempt to attack for game. So clearly some misplay did occur. You know, we get to rewatch this, we get to kind of make fun of it while we can, but you know, you learn from making your mistakes here. And hopefully the next game doesn't go that way, because it doesn't seem like there's going to be much left here. We're going to take a little bit of damage from the Lady of Labrynth, putting me from 10k to 7k. And we're going to say Welcome Labrynth. Like, this is not going to be too hard. This is end phase. This is on my end phase. He decided to go activate his Welcome Labrynth. The last card in my hand is also not playable, so I'm just not going to be able to do much. Technically, it's an Ash Blossom Joy Spring. I could actually activate it, maybe buy myself another turn, but... And, you know, but a little behind the scenes here, I was actually not looking at the board at the time. I was looking at the computer recording this duel, and then he already activated the Welcome Labrynth, and you know what? One distract to another. I already said, okay, we're going to move on with it. So, yes, he gets a bunch of free cards here. He gets his Ariana. Ariana gets a Lady. Lady summons out, and I'm like, yo, yeah, I did have an Ash. Whatever, we're going to move on. That's the interaction right there. And he's going to switch everything to attack position with that ton of damage right here. That is over 7,000 damage. So with every single monster swinging in, that's more or less game. I mean, he could choose to do more stuff, but then he's just wasting time and burning the time code into this video, making it extra long. So just attack, Nishi. What are you waiting for? These are the type of people that get nibbed accidentally because they over comboed. Yeah, that's game here. We're going to move on to game 2. Game 2. Now, this time I get to choose to go first. We have sided, and let's see how this game is going to play out. As you know, definitely going first is going to make a huge difference here. And there seems to be cards that are upside down on my side. Yes, there were a couple cards that were upside down. Oh, and yeah, don't do this at a feature table. Your judges will tell you not to do it, and you might get penalized for it. You know, just a heads up for you guys that are ever going to be on a feature table. Don't worry, he does correct himself later on. You know, the PE minus is a joke here. We're not really issuing any penalties. But we're going to start things off with a normal summon of No Punk Xiamen. Xiamen's been summoned. Like, of course, this is one card combo. We're going to activate the effect. It's going to cost me 600 life points. We're going to add a copy of Foxy Tune into hand. Now, this hand's actually quite interesting because we already have the Shirakusai already in hand. So, what are we doing here exactly when it comes to like adding a specific card into hand? So, we're going for Foxy Tune. But this is actually a Baron-based hand. So, we're going to activate the Foxy Tune. This is going to be Baron on 5th summon. So Foxy Tune's been activated. Oh, we have to discard another card to go with it. Not discard, but send a card to Graveyard. Let's be specific here, because under D-Shifter you can't really do very much. And we just also noticed that, hey, a lot of cards are actually upside down in the deck. Probably poorly shuffled in, but we're going to have to get rid of a card. The card that we're going to be tossing into the Graveyard is going to be the Roller Baller. Typically, if you're going to be discarding cards and you don't really know what you want to throw away, then the Gold Pride cards are pretty ideal because Leon can special summon them back, and that's what makes them ideal cards to kind of put into the graveyard. However, if you do get disrupted, that's going to cost you a lot more, because if you're going to be disrupted, then they would have been the ideal follow-up. So you're going to be correcting up the orientation of these cards. You know, if you get something like this, you probably get an MC minor because of the deck orientation. You know, coming from a judge standpoint, that's probably what I'm going to be issuing if I do see something like that. So I would issue myself an MC minor right there. Mark Hard minor. Anyways, Foxy Tune we can actually find ways to get additional summons out of the deck. Luckily for us, there is a monster that can provide us with an additional summon, aside from Deer Note. There is another level 3. That level 3 is going to be Wagon. Wagon can get to the field spell. The field spell, in this case, is pretty solid. Like, that's actually one of the easier ways for us to extend additional summons, especially when you open with certain punk cards already in your hand and you can't summon it out with Foxy Tune, or rather you don't want to. I think that Foxy Tune limits you down so you can't. But like, anyways, Wagon is still ideal because going for the punk extreme jam extreme session, this also turns into a pot of greed. So 600 life points. Well, probably gonna have to cost you another like 1200, but like that's gonna be drawing 2 cards later on. So with that, we're gonna activate the effect of Jam Extreme Session. We're gonna banish the Foxy Tune from the graveyard, and we're gonna summon up the Shirakusai, and then we're gonna pay even more life points here. So we're not gonna fuse just yet. We're going to summon out our favorite monster, the Ascended Thunder. I think in a future build, I am going to swap this card out. The reasoning for swapping it out, it makes more sense to go for a card that gives you more card advantage, like Kashtira Fenrir. Fenrir, I think, just makes a little bit more sense here. But in this case, it's still not bad. I mean, sure, we're pushing our life points a bit close, but, some people are considering using other cards like, Instant Fusion, Ready Fusion to give us a little bit more to play with. But regardless, we have gone into our Rising Carp because we fused with Shirakusai, and because we activate the effect of the Shirakusai, we get to draw a card, and then Rising Carp effect, we're going to tribute it, and that's going to allow me to summon out 2 cards from the deck that aren't level 8. So we have summoned out our Deer Note, and likely we're going to go for a Madam Spider. Makes sense, since Madam Spider has not used her effect just yet. And Madam Spider's effect, and we're going to see a Nashiwari Surprise. I mean, I believe in this particular matchup, Nashiwari Surprise is definitely much better compared to the Dangerous Gabu. Sure, Gabu can provide you with Negate by default. And we're also going to draw a card because of Extreme Jam Session, thanks to Madam Spider's effect. So yeah, we're down to 2,600 life points already. That's a huge cut down. I mean, it's pretty easy to just burn me to death at this point. However, we're going to perform a Synchro Summon, and that Synchro Summon monster is going to be Dragite. Remember, Rising Carp is already a water. You don't need to load into a Captain Carry to get you there. Rising Carp is also a water, but therefore the Dragite already provides you with an additional negate against spells and traps, and this is going to be getting you a lot of advantage over time. Like, every single turn, that's going to be 1 card less for Nishi to play with while the negation is alive. And it's also very difficult here too, with one additional thing to note. And I believe right now the effect is coming from Deer Note. Deer Note special summon Ozyaman from the graveyard. I think the most tough part for Nishi is that there's already 2 negates on the field, and there's already Gold Pride. Better luck next time. But better luck next time. What a fantastic card. What are we going to add here? Well, definitely don't add something that's going to cause me too much damage. So we're likely going to go see a Gold Pride Captain Carry added to hand. That's going to be 900 more life points. We're down to 1,700 life points on the first time, and Nishi hasn't even done anything. In the words of the the anime, you would typically see side characters say, "Oh my god, he's winning the duel already." But, Gold Pride, they definitely want to race their life down to the ground here. Okay, so we special summon with the Carry, we go into the with the Xiamen, we're going to overlay and Xyz summon into Gold Pride Chariot Carry. Chariot Carry, we're going to detach, get the add to hand of a spell card, and also send a card to the graveyard. This is the point where Nishi activates Ash Blossom Joyous Spring in response. However, now I have to contemplate whether or not I want to use the Baron, and I said, you know what, we're going to use the Baron effect on this. It's very important here. Why did Nishi wait so long for this play to occur? Why didn't he use Ash earlier? The reasoning is quite simple. It's because he does not want the Nitro Head live. Like, at this point, we're reading into Game 2 sided in evenly match. So we're going to set a couple of cards and set it up so that the Nitro Head can come back. However, the Baron has already burned her effect. So we're going to go to end phase. The Chariot Carry has activated its effect, so it has to mandatory activate, go back into the extra deck, and summon out a Captain Carry. And the effect of Better Luck Next Time is going to provide us with another card draw. This deck draws a lot of cards, and that's why you don't see them running cards like Pot of Prosperity. You're really going to cut yourself down. And look how many cards there are on the field. So this is 5th card Baron. Standby phase, we're going to activate Baron. Baron's going to summon out Nitro Head, and because we are still in the standby phase, Nitro Head's now also going to activate, and we're going to put out the Bomberman token. I'm calling this the Bomberman token because it blows up in a cross. This is a 1-fire Bomberman. Also, that Baron should not be in the graveyard. PE minor to me, TOMBOX. Now, so what does that token provide me? It provides me with security that there's just not going to be any evenly matches. I'm not sure if that even exists in his hand yet, but it's definitely a lot more difficult to play because there's still one spell trap negate, which in the long run is going to cause a lot of trouble for Nishi. That Baron, it has to go back into the extra deck. Yeah, we catch it here. Like, hey, wait a minute. Baron's supposed to go back to the extra deck. It goes back. Take the PE minor. It's very minor. This one is something that you typically not forget. But just beware of the deck thing. The deck thing, it's something you don't want to do at a feature table. Judges will always remind you about it. Especially like, oh, remember to use the zones. Use the zones. Okay. Nishi's struggling to actually take a start here. I think he just top decked into a drone Logbird. A little bit too late there. He has a Pot of Prosperity that he can go into, and maybe he can perhaps fetch for additional cards. But the back row on my side is not exactly, easy to play around. Oh, he's going to proceed to set a couple of cards at 3. He's dodging the Bomberman zones, the cross, from the token. Like, go ahead, summon into those zones. But there is a Nashiwari Surprise, and the Nashiwari Surprise is here to do some major damage. Now, see, I wasn't sure if he was going to evenly, but because he can't really evenly while the token's up, so whatever spell or trap card he was going to play, Nishi is being very conservative here, and I think is very smart on conserving his resources. So we're going to activate the Nashiwari Surprise. We're just going to hit the face down. Well, first of all, we don't have any of the Punk monster, so it can only target a set card. So we're going to basically take a guess. We're gonna hit that card, on the next extra. It wasn't evenly matched, so the token definitely put in a lot of work already. But don't forget, there was also the Gold Pride trap card in the back row as well. And I believe there's also the Gold Pride spell card, just in case we need to revive an additional card. But this is not looking too great for Nishi now. Due to the fact that the Dragite is on the field and it's also live, okay, on my turn, I'm going to activate the Harpy's Feather Duster for 2 cards. I mean, that's like the nightmare scenario for Nishi. But he does have an opportunity to change some of his cards, and we're going to see how things go. He's going to activate a big Welcome Labrynth. Since that card doesn't exactly do anything, will it be a priority negate? I think perhaps larger removals might, take the cake here. Because what if the other card is a regular Welcome Labrynth, and he gets to stick a monster onto the field? That's going to, be some decision making here. Oh no, it's a Dogmatic Punishment. So it was a removal based card, so saving that Dragite effect definitely paid off here. We're gonna activate Dragite to negate the Dogmatic Punishment. That card just is so good. Considering that there are multiple monsters under 25, that could mean that the Entis could pop multiple cards here. Or rather, Dogmatic Punishment and the Entis would pop multiple cards or destroy them. I gotta get my vocabulary right. There was one thing about like commentating officially is that you have to use proper terminology, and I'm trying to get into a better habit of things when it comes to that. Luckily in this commentary I get to have as much fun as I want. Okay, so Big Welcome went through, summon, add the card back into hand. Okay, that's fine too. We're going to see where this game is going to take us here. So we have still Dragite. Dragite's effect has been burned. There's no spawn trap card anymore. There's a card on the field, so you can't use infinite impermanence. This is looking pretty solid. Maybe this is Nibiru. Maybe we have to dodge that. We're going to special summon out Gold Pride Captain Carry, and that's going to activate and result in searching of one of the Gold Pride trap cards. And we're going to see Start Your Engines. One of the best trap hole cards in the deck that doesn't carry the trap hole name. Oh, there's the Jordan Lockbird. Wondering why he didn't use that earlier last game. However, that's because Baron was there and probably just top decked it. That's the assumption here. Not the best top deck. Definitely not a card that you want to draw into when you're trying to break out of a situation. It almost feels like 6-card Maxi or 6-card Nibiru after your opponent has done every single possible move. Well, now that we're under Jordan Lockbird, there is a problem. What did that Jordan Lockbird actually stop? Well, it stopped the Chariot Carry from allowing us to dig into a Gold Pride Leon. Sure, if we dug into Gold Pride Leon, yeah, it was going to cost us like another 1,500 life points, putting us at 200. It would have been a very, very high risk situation. Perhaps maybe it's the better situation for Nishi if we can just deal that 200 damage in like the cheapest way possible. But instead, what's going to happen is we're going to see Captain Chariot Carry attack into it, and then we're going to see a Dragon attack. The Dragon attack makes a lot of sense because we're still going to be under the life point threshold, or we're still less than our opponent. It's not like this particular game we're relying on Psychic and Punisher to close out the game, but because an Xyz monster did attack, we're going to see a special summon of Downer Magician on top of Carry, and then that's going to turn into a Zeus, you know, Divine Arsenal, a Zeus Sky Thunder. That's also another like really bad position for Nishi to be in. Like a worst case scenario, I would trade everything to clear out the board. Now, going to standby phase, we're going to activate Nitro Head and summon out the Bomberman token. I like that Black Feather counter. It just looks like a little mini bomb right there, so you know, it just makes sense. And of course, it's the Nitro Head token. Did you know, like the Gold Pride stuff? You know, it's just a bunch of racing game tropes put into one game. Like, Nitro Head almost feels like the blue shell for Mario Kart because it hits everything around it. Oh, on summon of Ariana. Yeah, I believe that's Ariana. We're going to activate Gold Pride. Start your engines. That card's not once per turn, so we're going to reveal 3 Leons. I don't think there's any point of him choosing a card, but here you go. It's got to be a Leon. Imagine if it was not a Leon. that would be a, well, I guess I'll see you next year kind of situation. So that's going to destroy the Ariana. Ariana is still going to be able to search because we do not negate that, but the Leon does get summoned onto the field. The dangerous part here for Nishi is that Leon's worst case scenario is not going to stick onto the field. And on top of that, it's also going to turn into a Psychic and Punisher or an Amazing Dragon. And that's going to spin away, or rather bounce away, a ton of cards. So Nishi goes for the Welcome Labrynth. I don't think it's in the best position here. Just the Welcome Labrynth is going to get negated. It's just his hand size is just so low. He's not going to be able to get very much out of his out of anything that he's going to grab now. He needs like a card that can advance his the number of cards in his hand, like Pot of Greed, maybe, like, you know, Pot of Desires. He needs something to just load his hand a little bit further because he can't really trade very well here. He's gonna go for the big welcome this time. Maybe get additional effects. You know, it makes sense to get a card that would provide you with more effects than just the standard, hey, I'm gonna, you know, 1-for-1, because he's just really far behind. He needs to do trades on the field that's gonna generate more cards. We're gonna see the special summon of Lady of the Labyrinth, and that's going to be destroyed. Slight misplay here. I mean, he does have a trap card added to your hand. He could have set a card first. Remember, the Gold Pride Start Your Engines, that does have a target-based effect, and you can't target Lady if you already have a set card. So that's a slight misplay on Nishi's side. He could have gotten that protected. I think the worst misplay is he summoned next to the Bomberman token. That would have just gotten blown up regardless if I can target it or not. Okay, so we're gonna reveal Rollerball or Double Leon. I think Leon is still like the better choice here. I think there's no doubt that I'll go for Leon. You know what I wish for Gold Pride to have? I wish they had a Synchro 9 or a Synchro 8. Synchro 8 or 9, I think that would be really ideal, because then you go like to Star Leon into another monster. That'd be kind of cool too. Oh, we're going to see Leon summoned again. And do we also need here? Maybe the deck could also use a little bit of Pendulum Love. Maybe that's like the Secret Racer, you know? The Secret Racer. that you get to unlock throughout racing games, because it seems like that's the one thing we don't have yet. You know, we have our standard racers, we have, you know, all of their special ability. And by the way, do you know why they have to go back to the extra deck? Because they use their ability and therefore they become normal racers again. That's kind of, you know, the gist of the Gold Pride. I thought it was really cool. So Nishi follows up with a copy of Pot of Prosperity. He's just gonna dump away a couple of cards, and that's gonna get negated by Dragite. Because why not? That token is just really annoying for him. But this time around, I think that token's not going to stick here, because that token being around prevented some damage from going through. So if Nishi's going to be passing turn, that Nitro Head can destroy that token, and that's exactly what we're going to be going for. You know, end phase, let's just pop the token. This is not like a Kashtira matchup where, oh, you popped a token? Okay, well, special summon out Unicorn. That's not likely going to happen in this case, because I don't think there is a Labrynth Kashtira deck. Zeus is now in attack mode. Nitro Head is also going into the graveyard. I believe that's being synchroed off right now. Into Psychic End Punisher. I mean, such a safe play. You can even activate the effect of Psychic End Punisher. And just reduce the life points by another 1,000. But, you know, there's an Ash Blossom and there's a negation. There's no way. Yeah, Nishi just scoops this one up right here. Game 2 goes to me. So, one game apiece. Not too bad. Not too bad. Oh my goodness. A second time with the deck moved up to the top. Man, if that's 2 times in a row, I'm sorry, man. You're going to be taking an upgraded penalty, which is a game loss. I'm just kidding. We're going to continue with the match here. Some people just like doing it like that. I don't mind people, like, you know, slanting their decks, but, you know, graveyard swapping, you know, on feature match, I would definitely avoid. Man, Ascended Thunder seems to be glued to my hand. My hand is actually insane. There's double E-Tally, there's an Ash Blossom. I think it's good for cracking boards, and we're going to see where this is going to go. So, we're already open with Jam Extreme Session. If this plays goes through, there's no way that Nishi's going to win here. But he does have triple back row. He went first, he has triple back row. We're going to activate 1 emergency teleport. And he does have an Ash. That is very unfortunate. And then we're going to shotgun the second emergency teleport. See, we're actually going to review this particular play, because I feel like it could have played out a bit differently. And Nishi and I decided to actually review that play afterwards, because this is going to be very interesting. So he's going to activate Welcome Labrynth. How did he come out on top, even though he gets Ash on this particular point? So the remaining 2 cards is probably what's most important here, and we're going to see whether or not, you know, things go completely wrong. So we summon out Xiamen. It doesn't feel too bad now. So Xiamen has been summoned onto the field, and then we're going to look at, this is basically the critical point, or rather, before the second E-Tally gets played, I believe that is where the critical point starts to exist. So Big Welcome Labrynth has been activated. The Welcome Labrynth, which one should have been negated by Ash at this point? Should it have been the Big Welcome or the regular Welcome? You know, I've still, to this day, still thinking about it. Probably should have negated the Big Welcome, in my opinion. We're going to activate, we're going to chain Cosmic Cyclone onto this. Was this a misplay as well? So the thought process behind the Cosmic Cyclone was that if that card was, say, like in, I guess it was like, if it was an infinite impermanence, I would have forced him to activate it here and now. Or if it was a compulse, he would have been forced to activate it here and now. But it was a dogmatic punishment, and that's potentially the worst case scenario. Should the Cosmic Cyclone have been played before the emergency teleport? That's probably the real guess here. But then it would have been a 50-50, because the Big Welcome Labrynth doesn't necessarily need to activate either. So the game definitely would have been a lot better. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I'm just causing a lot of misplays left and right here, because there's definitely a lot better choices. Instead of sending like an Entis, he sends a Bucephalus the second and goes for the card draw with the Garuda Send. And Big Welcome Labrynth summons out Lady. Lady's going to be added back to hand. Things are not looking too good, because without a monster, the Xiamen really doesn't really offer very much.
I messed up big time.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of misplays here. probably starting at the point where the second E-Tally was played. I think everything kind of went south afterwards. If the Cosmic Cyclone was like gambled on 50-50, at least the worst case scenario is that the big Welcome Labrynth would be banished. But then, yeah, I would still be kind of in a losing scenario here. But we'll see. We'll see where this goes. Now, Nishi can technically still summon out the lady and just start generating an advantage in body. So yeah, we're going to see the lady summoned out, you know, somewhere in between main phase 1 to like end phase. Man, this is going to bother me forever. So yeah, going into main phase, he's going to put it into attack position. We're going to take the damage of 3000 to the face, and that's going to set 1. He's going to pass. Drew into Madam Spider. This is not too bad. Now, I'm still holding in the Ascended Thunder, so there's another 3000 damage likely coming on. So we're going to normal summon the Madam Spider. And he's going to activate Big Welcome Labrynth to return the Madam Spider back to hand. Unfortunately for Nishi, there's still a Punk Jam Extreme session on the field, so there is a follow-up summon, and I think that's one of the key things here that kind of brought my attention back to like Punk ABC, is that with Ancient Fairy Dragon you can summon out Baron, you can do a lot of different things, and he also chained Lady, and that gained him another card. Did he chain Lady? Or was that a regular Welcome Labrynth? I think that was like a regular Welcome Labrynth that got added. So we're going to activate Punk Jam Extreme Session. That's going to banish the Xiamen, summon back the lady. However, oh no, Skill Drain has been activated. That is the worst outcome. However, we did pay life points, so we're going to draw a card. Nope, he has an Ash, but he has a card for everything. That's not good. That's definitely not good. Oh no. So we're going to, well, there's no other choice. We have to special summon out our Ascended Thunder. And this is the only point in the game where I regret not running a Chaos Angel. Because if I ran Chaos Angel, I would have the strongest monster on the field. And that would be a level 10. I believe you can use a tuner and a light or dark monster to summon it out. Unless the tuner needs to be light or dark. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment section, guys. So we're going to see the Baron summon out, and that's basically forced to crash. And this game is pretty much going to end if Nishi has a single monster, which he probably does. There is a Welcome Labrynth that's already set onto the field. So we're going to attack and basically pass turn. And he drew for turn. Just show me a monster, dude. Just show me a monster. You know it's scoop phase after the fact. There's no cards in hand. Everything has been already traded off very poorly. And there's Labrynth, Shen Dragolier, and he's going to attack for game. Well done, Nishi. This game, the match goes to, 2-1 to Nishi. Here's the after game review.
This is where we were.
So then I activate E-Tellies. Now the question was there a point you activated your card? I asked you.
I welcomed you, Ash. So from this point, should you
have Cosmic?
Because if you Cosmic this, I'm just gonna chain this and get this anyway.
It's like 50-50.
No, you should have.
Why?
So I've already used Welcome.
Yeah.
If you Cosmic this, it's banished. I don't have the pop the next turn.
The bounce.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably should have. If I activated that, I rolled on it, summon out the card. You activate your card. I tried to chain Cosmic onto the other copy, hoping that it was like a skill drain or something. I was thinking that maybe it would have been a compulse,
like a floodgate.
A compulse.
Yeah.
Because even if you compulse it, then I have my normal. I can normal it onto the field and drop this. Then I can. And that's it for this feature table match. I hope you enjoyed Nishi's debut here. And if you're wondering anything about the sleeves or the mat, you guys can check it out at MSTmerch.com. Thank you for your support. If you guys like my solo commentary or the game itself, hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more stuff, leave it down in the comment section below, because it does take a lot of effort to make a game like this happen. And hit subscribe, ding that notification bell. And that's it for this one. I'll see you later.